The Too Rich to Miss podcast.
Welcome to the Too Rich to Miss podcast YouTube show. I am your host, Mr. Too Rich, your Southern urban voice, coming to you live from the booth on the East Coast, right out of the United States of Virginia. The United States of America, right here in Virginia. All right, let's hop right into it. Always be sure to follow me here. Be sure to follow me right here on Twitter, Too Rich to Miss. Be sure to also check out the YouTube channel, Too Rich to Miss on YouTube. And be sure to check out the podcast every week that comes out on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else where you would like, where your podcasts are, where you like to listen to your podcast. Now, and as always, rich, relevant conversations. And today, as you saw in the title, we are going to be talking about DeFi. We are going to be talking about DeFi and decentralized finance, and and we're going to be talking about Yearn, YFI, for a brief few moments here. And this is more so a video about being very cautious. Now, the short answer, can you make money out here in this DeFi market? And I know you saw the title. And yes, I do believe that. Now, but I do want to make sure that you're aware that you need to be careful. You need to be very careful out here because there are a lot of schemes and a lot of nonsense out here. And you can really lose your capital if you're not careful and you don't take profits. Now, this is an article here. Not going to go through the logistics, the big bulk of this article, because we're just doing a short video today. I'm doing something simple, short, straight to the point. The answer to the question, yes, you can become a millionaire out here investing in this decentralized finance market. Obviously, with all of the low cap coins that are going to be coming up and with all of the major explosions that's going to be happening more so here in the coming time as the bull market really starts to kick off, we're going to see some really big stuff happening over here. And if you really want to dig in, and once again, there's not financial advice, but if someone has really a lot of risk, if your tolerance for risk is really high and you can afford to lose, because keep in mind, you truly got to have your big boy pants if you're going to come over here and really be messing around with some of these riskier stuff. And then a lot of this small cap stuff. Most people spend their time, a lot of people just take their time and deal with and DCA and go into the, into the bigger players and the more stable things. But there are going to be some people who want to get out there and just go on and roll the dice. And I'm leaving this on the screen just for an extra couple moments because this is the most important thing. Most people don't DYOR. Yes, we can really hit some nice gains out here and really increase our portfolios and really do some great stuff for ourselves and our families. And overall, that's what we're here to do. We're here to build up, to be able to build up some capital, to be able to do what we want to do for ourselves and our families, and do whatever it is that we want to do, whether that be invest in other real estate, if that's what we want to do, if we want to open up a business, if that's what we want to do, if we want to just go and buy a spot on the beach and just relax and do nothing, if that's what we want to do. That's why we do all of this. So yes, to answer the question in the title, yes, you can make these millions over here messing around with this stuff. It is serious. And why do you say that? Because YFI. This is why I say that. And I'm going to back this up with some numbers just on this right here. I want to show y'all something. Now, granted, I did not do this, but I'm going to show you how could someone be messing around over here, roll the dice, and possibly make $1 million. YFI is currently at $33,213. Now, full disclosure, I discovered YFI on August the 13th. I'm coming down there showing you the chart right now. And I'm going to leave this right here for a reason. I discovered YFI August the 13th. It was about right here. It was about right here when I looked at it. That's where it was when I saw it. Now, granted, I'm going to be honest with you. I was very skeptical. I was very skeptical of this particular coin when it was down here on August the 13th. At the time, it had already went from 2,000. Because I had been looking at it before then, but I saw it go from 2,000 to 4,000. And I said on the 13th was the day that I decided, as opposed to, because I'm a dollar cost averager for the most part, I passed on it. I passed on it on the 13th, and then it just kept going. And although it had a little dips from here, it just kept going. And then boom, we are here. This coin has went up. I want you to see this right here. 704%. This coin has went up 704% in the last 30 days. 704% in the last 30 days. Let's stretch it out a little bit further. Let's look at the last 90 days. In the last 90 days, this thing was at $1,000. This thing was under $1,000. This thing was at $1,000. This thing was at $1,090 on July the 19th. If you spent $1,000 on one, do you see where I'm going with this? If you spent $1,000 on one of these, if you bought in and spent $1,000 on these right here, if you got, let's say you just got it right here, I got it right there. Let's say you got it right there at about 1,000, right? Let's say you got it right around there at 1,000. You got it there at 1,000, and it is at its all-time high is 37,000, and let's just say you caught it right at the top, because at one time it hit like 38,000. Let's say you caught it right at the top. You can do the math on that one. That is one insane gain on your money. How's that for a percentage? Now, but on the same token, now, yes, that's obviously, a big winner and all of that. And, that's an extreme win. And granted, yes, I would have loved to had that win in my portfolio. And the same company, but I honestly, in the midst of me being skeptical, because this is what you have, you have to be very careful with your capital. Because yes, this one, yes, I skipped on this one, and sure, it went up to 33,000 right now. Am I gonna get in on it? I might. Or I might get in on it, or I might. I'm still kind of back and forth on it. But one thing is for sure, I honestly thought this was going to go to zero, like that yams thing, or the F coin thing, like they were talking about in this article back here. The bear case for yield farming That's a good article to really look at in depth. And once again, you can be the one that saw YFI like I did, but you might have just went on and bought in. You might have bought in, and you might be sitting on those sick gains right now. But I was skeptical, and you have to be skeptical, because there are a lot of good things out here like this that you might be able to catch, get in and get out. And I'm not even saying this is a good thing. I'm saying it's, if you would have caught it, if you caught this early and you're up right now, my suggestion right now would be take profits. Take your profits, lock in some profits, and that's just sounded. That's not financial advice. That's just a good, sound, wise suggestion from one friendly person to another. If you bought this at $1,000 and you're way up here, these things are these things are very volatile, and this thing really could go to zero tomorrow. So going to take you some profits, take some of this out and put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that. Not financial advice, it's just what I would do. And that's, just what I would do. And the same company, same individual, he's coming with insurance. Why insurance? And you guys can go through and check that out as well. And that hasn't launched just yet, but he is definitely on the cusp, and you can definitely follow them on Twitter. So yeah, they're talking about Insurance.finance, a new insurance primitive, and it gets really deep and a little too deep for this video. But this same company, same guy, and the person to really look at and to really watch is this guy right here. This is the CEO. So this is the guy to follow and to watch if you're really trying to, kind of keep some insight on what's going on with this. And of course, you can definitely follow them on Twitter as well, but definitely follow him. As this project is they definitely have some things happening over there. And once again, there's a lot going on with that. Definitely go through and check that out as well. But the moral to the story of this video is, I'm going to keep it short and get ready to get out of here, is two things. Number one, yes, you can get extreme wealth out here. As you look at this thing over 7 days, 169%. Just think if you'd have bought this 7 days ago, you would have already 1.5, you would be 1.5x up on your money. How do you like them apples? Or if you would have caught UMA, or if you're like me and have been in Aave, or Ave as they like to call it, this is one that I caught, and they're down a little bit today, but this is a long-term hold for me. I've had them more than 30 days. Just as a footnote. So 153%. And Ave or Lend, I like to call them Aave. I think that sounds a little bit more, I like Aave. That sounds a little bit more luxurious. But anyway, Ave, as most of the community calls them, has been one of my long-term holds. Not financial advice, just what I'm doing. Because this DeFi sector is huge. It is huge, but it's huge in opportunity, but it's still small. Because in my last video, I showed you guys the heat map. This market right now, the market cap right now is only 17.9 billion for this whole decentralized finance market. When you start to factor in derivatives and the stock market And the futures market, we're talking about quadrillions, of money, which is multiples of trillions. You know what I'm saying? As far as when we start to put all of the whole world financial market, because then look at this. This currently versus the world financial global markets. I want everybody to think about this. Think about the long-term opportunity for those of us who have vision. The big part of my market, my audience breaks off into two sets. I got the 25 to the 35, and then I got the 36 to the 45. The 36 to the 45, see the importance of this number right here. Only 4.6% of decentralized finance of the world of global finance. This is such a small piece of the global financial market with the enhanced technologies that's going along in here. Not to mention the fact we didn't even touch on the decentralized part of no KYC to go through and do a lot of these transactions. We can talk about that in another video. But I thank you so much for checking this out. Do not miss the point. You can make a lot of money out here, but be careful. Most people, sadly, users do not look at risk enough. Yes, you can get that 1,000% return, but you can also get totally wrecked and lose your money. I'll catch you on the next one on the Too Rich to Miss podcast. Peace.
The Too Rich to Miss podcast.